These are real life MLM horror stories straight from the YouTube comment sections of 2 of my videos, so you know they're gonna be good. Hi there, I'm Abby Howe, and this is How Funny, your place to not take yourself too seriously. I put out videos every single Thursday, so subscribe if you haven't already. Lately, I've been getting some really interesting comments on the MLM videos on my channel, so I wanted to take some time to share them, read them, react to them, and show you my favorites because I think that real life is always funnier than scripted life. When it comes to jargon, we exposed quite a few silly things that MLMers say, including working my business. Taman Shoot, and I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong, commented, working my business sounds like some kind of a pimp thing. Yes, it does. And then Lady V commented, essentially, these Hunbots are being pimped by their upline, so it fits. And they are. I mean, when you have a bunch of people working under you and their profits go upline, like to you, then it's kind of like, yeah, like someone is pimping you out for money. And that's kind of what these things do with people. And then Amber Ross commented, OMG, thank you, you do not own your own business. You work for a company, you sell their products that they make and then they set their prices. I think what Amber is referring to is a lot of people who are in MLMs frame their business as something that they have complete control over, but like YouTubers, you only have control of very small amounts. When I upload a video onto YouTube, I am now dependent on YouTube to monetize my video, to show my video. They have complete control. They can delete me. They can block me from the service. I don't own this channel. And that's the same thing with MLMs. You may be an independent contractor, but you are definitely not a boss. You are completely dependent on what this company does. The actions of the Lularoe CEO have directly impacted all of the independent contractors who are selling Lularoe clothing because it reflects badly on them and they don't have control of that because they are employees technically. And then some people called out the pseudoscience of some health MLMs. For example, Finch with Dolls said, child died of cancer. We had all the essential oils that could have saved their life and also our natural ingredients helps with autism. Hashtag fight autism, hashtag cancer, hashtag we have the cure, hashtag we're not doctors. This is not an exaggeration. I know Finch with Dolls is kind of making a joke, but I'm part of this Facebook group called It Sounds Like MLM, but okay. And people do screenshots of crazy MLM things that happen on the internet. And there's a lot of this of people saying, oh, my child is really sick or my child passed away. And then MLMers being like, oh my God, buy this oil because it would have saved your kid's life or it will save your kid's life when like there's no scientific backing behind those things. That's what can be really frustrating about some of these claims from these companies. Meow Meow says, Arbonne loves to say that their products are chemical free. I think that their sales reps have no clue how basic chemistry works. And then Seth Fry said, I know, everything is made of chemicals. Everything is made of chemicals. Next up, my viewers remind me of the explosive use of emojis that some Hunbots use. Oh my God. Oh my God! Luke Wilson commented, the copious use of emoji and the phrase drop an emoji. And Michael Lewis, the JRPG King, says, don't forget how they type like this. Yes, hun, have you ever heard about herpes? Hun, it's an all-natural vegan shampoo. You can rock all the latest styles without animal cruelty, hun. I love it. Michael and Luke, you guys did a great job showing us how Hunbots use their emojis. You guys are rocking those emojis. When we tackled the skeevy recruiting tactics in MLM Friend, lots of people chimed in with their stories. Thomas True says this is exactly how MLMers solicit their marks to join their scheme to fill in part of their downline. And Thomas's little picture is an MLM with a line through it. So Thomas, I feel like you were made to find these videos. You are just perfect to me. Jay with the swag commented, imagine this conversation, but instead of the friend you haven't seen since high school, it's your best friend you haven't talked to in 2 days. It's super weird and creepy. I can't imagine what it would be like to have my very best friend pitch me something like this and for it to feel gross. I can't imagine. And I think I would feel really hurt. I think I would feel like they were trying to profit off me, and it would definitely change my relationship with them. And it has with people in my life who were not my best friends, but you know, acquaintances or close friends or childhood friends, that has happened to me, and it's disconcerting for sure. DR says, this one is so on point. I feel like they go to great lengths to obfuscate the details of the business opportunity. First of all, DR, amazing job on your vocabulary. Obfuscate is a great word. And second of all, yeah, I think that when someone's trying to recruit you, they definitely aren't super clear about what the business opportunity is. I've definitely experienced that when I had a friend like invite me to coffee and try to pitch me, I don't even remember which pyramid scheme, I think it was Amway or something. And I kept asking, what exactly do you do? And she wouldn't tell me. She just like, that's why I wrote MLM Friend, because I was like, this is so, it felt so weird and so uncomfortable. And that's definitely kind of the phrasing that they teach you to do when you're recruiting people. Patrick Castro shared a story about his ex saying, my ex sold costume jewelry and makeup. It sucked watching her really put an effort only to annoy her friends and not make a lot. I feel like that is super common in MLMs. People who work in MLMs are not lazy. They're really hardworking. They're talented people. They're valuable people, but what you get back is not always worth the effort, I think. And I think that Patrick is pointing that out here. Patrick Castro. Patro, I'm nicknaming you Patro from now on. Isho Juarez says, you made it funny, but when it happens to you, it makes you feel stupid. I know, because I have felt this way. It makes me feel really stupid. And that's why I started making these videos, because I felt really used and I felt really uncomfortable. And I was like, I need to make something funny out of this. Otherwise, I'm just gonna feel kind of gross and icky about the whole situation. If you haven't watched my 2 MLM videos, I've put those links in the description down below, and I hope that they make you laugh and feel better, especially if you just had an experience that made you feel kind of uncomfortable. Rob Corley says, it's like the friend you don't want to have to explain yourself to after 5 years of not talking. Totally agree. Meg the Adventurer says, this happens so often, especially when you live in a small town like me. I actually was a part of a few MLMs before and felt so icky and terrible when my uplines kept telling me to ask everyone I knew. Never again. I am so glad that you shared this, Meg the Adventurer, and also I love your username. It feels gross. Like, I would feel super gross. I think that in life you have to ask people for things to get by. You have to have support either emotionally or spiritually or whatever. But when your entire business is based on the backs of the people that you know and how you communicate with them, that can be incredibly icky and incredibly stressful. The broke mountain biker also fell for one of these schemes. He or she said, I fell for one of these, lol. Then I realized that other people were pitching me different pyramid schemes the same way I was pitching mine, and realized it was the same scam, different product. Yeah, a lot of scams out there, all framed the same way. I'm so sorry that you fell for one of them, but at least you're mountain biking, dude. At least you're mountain biking. We also got some stories about how terrible it feels when you put your trust in someone and they use you for money. Chris C says, I went to all the network marketing conferences because my friend made me feel really special. She said I'd make a great amount of money because of my stellar personality. I kept supporting her because I thought she was one of my first genuine friends since getting sober, and she was all about self-development. Haven't heard from her since I stopped buying the products and decided not to become a distributor. This story is all too common. I really empathize with Chris and her feelings of vulnerability. When you're just getting sober, that can be a really tough time, and a time when you need people supporting you like 1000%. So I totally understand why you would latch on to someone who was showing interest in you and supporting your sobriety and like wanting you to be better and better yourself, and all of those things are great. But if you're doing it through MLM with the only purpose of making money from that person, it can be really disheartening. And clearly that woman did not have Chris's best intentions at heart, because she totally dropped her after she stopped benefiting from Chris, which just super sucks, dude. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Alexis Ryer says, so a few months ago, someone DM'd me on Instagram. She asked if I was interested in buying some products from ItWorks, and she said I would get a discount using her code. Alexis is 15, and we've actually been emailing back and forth about this encounter, and she basically signed up for this to buy like some protein powder one time, and then it sent her on auto charge. And this is the craziest part. The only way out of the 3-month subscription that she bought that she didn't didn't know she bought was to pay $50. That's crazy, especially when you're 15 years old. The whole thing is super skeezy, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, Alexis. At least now you know. Don't spend your hard-earned money through people who DM you on Instagram trying to get you to buy stuff. You can buy protein powder at the grocery or online. Find a company that you're really passionate about that doesn't use independent distributors. So those are the comments that I saw and loved and really resonated with on my 2 MLM videos. Again, if you haven't seen those, they're linked in the description down below. If you have any questions about MLMs, I highly recommend 2 podcasts. One is The Dream and one is Sounds Like MLM But Okay. I'll link those in the description down below. Also, I'm thinking about making a web series about MLMs, like about a girl who joins an MLM. Is that something that you would be interested in? And if so, what would make you laugh? Or what would you like to see covered? Let me know in the comments, or you can email me at howfunnybiz@gmail.com. That's if you have like a longer story or you don't wanna like put it into like a very public comment section, you can just email me. If you are not subscribed, please do so. I put out videos every single Thursday, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.